Hello guys, thanks for joining me. Today I'm going to show you an American military Cold War item, and it's a box of sea rations. So we've got a little box here. This would have been an individual meal, and this one here has beans with frankfurter chunks and a tomato sauce. It's a B2 unit. These little boxes weighed about 2 pounds, and they would have provided about 1,200 calories for the soldier. They came in larger boxes of 12 units in a box, and there would have been 12 different meals available. I can't remember all the meals now, but some would have been like stews, some were ham and potato slices, and I think I remember turkey. Anyhow, this is the beans and frankfurters. Would have been a favorite of mine. I bought this particular item on eBay nearly 10 years ago, and this is a 1968 dated unit. So these boxes would have contained a so-called B unit, which was the entree or main course. It's so-called meat unit, in this case here we got some frankfurters in a tomato sauce. There would have been a canned fruit or cake, so a dessert can. There would have been a B unit, which was a so-called bread unit. It didn't contain bread, it contained crackers, and usually would have contained a small tin of peanut butter or sometimes cheese or chocolate biscuits or something like that. And there would have been a canned spread to put onto the crackers. And there would have been a spoon and an accessory pouch in here. So we're just going to have a look at it. So right at the top here we got a P38 can opener. These were not supplied to each box. You would have had maybe 2 or 3 of these in a carton. But anyhow, I've got a spare one here still in its sealed container package. I've actually got my P38 can openers here from my time when I was a kid. So these are mine that I had when I was in the Boy Scouts. So it's just a simple can opener device here. And as you can see, it has a hole in the top here. And what you would have done is you would have put it onto the chain of your identification disc, and you would have put that into boiling water to sterilize them after use. So anyhow, that's mine. So that's what's in here. Moving on, we got the accessory pouch. This one's unopened. And as the package says, it's accessory pouch, and it contains cigarettes. Cigarettes were in these from when these were introduced in 1958 up until the very late 60s or very early 1970s. These sea rations were produced from 1958 all the way up to 1980. Contained matches, chewing gum, toilet paper, coffee, creamer, sugar, and salt. So we got the spoon here, still in its wrapper. So we got the canned spread. So here we got peach jam. We got the B2 unit, which is the crackers. Got the M unit, which is the main meal, the entree. You can see there's a little hole in it. After several years, usually the contents corroded the metal, and this one leaked. So I emptied it some years back and just kept the can. But anyhow, that's the beans with frankfurter chunks and a tomato sauce here. And as you can see, it is dated 1968 or 68 there. And then we got the dessert in here lastly. And again, we got a date here, 22nd of August 1968. That is the packing date when it was packed. And this one here is a pecan cake roll. Again, you can see how it's beginning to rust on the edges here. And over time, it develops little holes and the contents go off. You see a lot of YouTubers actually eating these old sea rations, but I certainly would advise against that. Probably end up with a severe case of food poisoning. Anyhow, it's quite a nostalgic pack for me. Back in the day when I was in the Boy Scouts, we used to beg, borrow, and steal these packs. I remember back in Germany, when the soldiers came back from maneuvers, we'd go down to the motor pools and offer to wash their trucks in exchange for sea rations. Or sometimes they'd be just lying around and we just take them for our hikes. They were not very popular with the soldiers as such, and they caused a lot of constipation if you ate them on a regular basis. But I suppose that is what they were designed for. You wouldn't want to have diarrhea in a combat situation. Anyhow, you could eat them cold, and they were not very palatable cold. I don't remember really eating them cold very often. We used to heat them up, open up the cans, and just heat them over a campfire. My father was a mechanic in the army, so what he and his buddies used to do is they used to open the cans, put a little hole in the top of the can, and then stuff them behind the exhaust when they were driving down the autobahns. So by the time they get to their destinations, the cans would be hot and ready to eat. You had to be careful to make a hole into the cans, otherwise the contents would explode. Anyhow, that's the unit as it is that I've got in my collection. So, as I say, I've got the accessory pouch here, and what would have been inside the accessory pouch would have been a pack of cigarettes. So I've got an unopened 1960s pack of Newport cigarettes. There would have been 4 cigarettes in a pack. You would have had the matches to go with it. You had some chewing gum. You had toilet paper. You had instant coffee. To go with the coffee, you had a creamer. And then you had sugar. And lastly, there was a sachet of salt, which you could add to your main course if required. And that would have been the contents of one of these, as I said, from 1958 up until the late 60s or early 70s when they stopped putting cigarettes in there. So what I got here is the B2 unit that came in the box. As I said, it usually contained the crackers to be used with the spreads. Sometimes it contained a little sachet of hot chocolate. I used to love Swiss Miss as a kid, and that was one of my favorites. Sometimes it has a little can of peanut butter in it, and sometimes it had chocolate biscuits as well. Anyhow, I'm going to open one of these. Not this one here, it's in very good condition here, so I'm going to put that aside. But I've got another one here which is blown. You can see it's the contents have gone off, so it's blowing the contents. You can see it's bulging. So I'm going to open that and we'll have a look and see what's inside a typical B2 unit, which was produced in September 1968. But I'm going to do that in the garage just in case it explodes on me, or I'm not sure exactly what's going to be inside it. Right, I'm in my garage now and I'm just going to open the can. It is a little bit dark in here. I don't have lights that work in the garage at the moment, but I'm going to open the can using my trusty old P38 can opener. So basically you just stuck it in the side here and it opened. Oh, did you hear that? This thing is full of gas. Right, there's quite a strong smell coming out of here. So let's have a look and see what's in it. Right, so we got the crackers. Let me just get something to put on to it. Right, so I'm just going to empty the contents. Okay. So, this one's leaked. We got cheddar cheese, one of the less popular options for soldiers, and as you can see, it's leaked. Yuck, look at that. So anyhow, that would have been the biscuits or the crackers, and then you would have had the cheese. As I say, sometimes you would have had peanut butter, which was what we kids always loved, or else you would have had a couple of chocolate biscuits perhaps, or a sachet of hot chocolate. But as I say, we got 1968 dated cheddar cheese spread type 1. Yuck. Anyhow, that's going to go into the bin. I'm going to recycle the tin, and that's the contents of a typical B tin. Anyhow, as always, thanks for watching, and bye for now.